Good morning, Mark. Between 4 and 6 a.m. this morning was that surge of the early morning holiday travels. Those 6 o'clock flights have now since departed, which giving us a little lull until that next wave comes in, which gives us perfect time to check in with Kelly here with NFTA about packing and getting through those TSA lines. Do you have any advice for us as we're trying to pack for our holiday travel?
Absolutely. So a lot of things that we've been seeing, throughout the years, people have been kind of heeding that advice. So like you said, it's been a real ebb and flow of people coming through. So it hasn't been that busy rush. But one of the things that we definitely want people to remember is step one, when you are packing to get ready to go, you want to make sure you start with this. An absolute empty bag. Now, why is that, you may ask me? Of course everyone starts with an empty bag, but you'd be surprised some of the things that TSA finds because people haven't looked in, the nooks and crannies. So number one, just make sure you're always starting with that empty bag. So that way there aren't any surprises when you come to the airport, right? Lots of firearm owners, and we want to make sure that those stay where they're at and don't end up in your bag on accident. Also, when you're going through that TSA line, very, very easy things when it comes to your wardrobe. You can do things like not wear that belt because those seconds are really going to take up time when you're going through that travel line. Also, slip on shoes. Make sure you're wearing those. You don't have to untie your sneakers. 3 ounces. This one is my Fenty product. It's about 1 ounce, so 3 of those. And also, if you have any electronics, you can make sure that those are already out of the bag. And again, those might seem like things that you already know, like common sense things, but when you're rushing, you're coming out, you can forget those things. So we just want to go ahead and remind people that those seconds can really mean a lot of difference when you're trying to rush to get to that plane.
And this weekend is a big family travel time, so people are coming to what might be really scary for young kids. There's a hustle and bustle. Do you have any advice for people bringing those kids through those lines?
Yeah, so it's the simple things like when you have kids and you're going on a regular road trip, you want to pack your snacks, make sure you kind of remind them, if you can. I actually have a son who has autism, so anytime we're going to come to the airport, I like to take him a day before or a couple days before just to go ahead and make sure that he's comfortable. So that's something that you can do for all kids, so that way they can get a lay of the land if they haven't traveled already.
It's going to be a busy travel weekend, so planning ahead for things like emptying your bag, those long lines, will go a long way to make sure your trip goes smoothly. From Buffalo, Megan Solensky, Erie News Now.
All right, thank you, Megan. 6:34 on this Wednesday morning here in Erie. The real estate market's really been a seller's world of late. We used to have 1,200 houses on the market on a regular basis, and now that average is down to about 300. Buyers compete against limited home options and high home costs. Homeowners can be nervous to sell because success means then they become a buyer. So, yeah, things are changing in the real estate market. Kara Jeffers is live in studio this morning. She's been talking to realtors and other folks in the business about these potential changes on the horizon. Good morning, Kara.
Good morning, Mark. Yes, with all the kind of craziness that happens in the housing market right now, we're looking at some lawsuits that might be changing how real estate agents work and interact with your sellers and your buyers. Give me a little bit of the status quo. How do you guys interact with that process right now?
Currently, a listing agreement is entered into between a listing broker and a seller. And at that point, they determine how much they want to compensate the buying broker agent. And each individual listing broker can enter into whatever terms they want to, or whatever terms the seller wants to as far as paying that buyer broker. It could be as little as 0 if they wanted to. But that means, you're going to limit yourself with what agents are going to come and want to sell your home if they don't get compensated in the end. So that's where it stands right now.
Yeah, kind of the seller is the one who's in charge of paying the real estate agent. Now, we had this lawsuit, Burnett. It happened in Missouri. We just got a verdict on October 31st. It found liable the National Association of Realtors.
Right.
What was their kind of accusations?
Their accusation is that the National Association of Realtors violates the Sherman Antitrust Act by allowing various MLSs to say that agencies have to charge a certain amount, which again, I go back to saying we don't have to charge a certain amount. It is totally up to the individual broker and the client, the seller client. Things could change if, and right now we really don't know how this is going to shake out. The NAR is appealing the ruling. That could happen sometime later next year. There are other cases pending. We hear there are buyers that may file an antitrust case. So who knows where this is all going to go. So right now it's status quo. And if it changes in the end, it could mean that buyers will have to pay their agent individually. So we don't know really where it's going to go.
We'll see where that lawsuit ends up. There's more lawsuits on the horizon, but overall, the way that real estate agents are interacting with that house buying process is kind of maybe up for grabs.
It could change.
Yeah, thank you, Melanie, for coming in. Mark, I hear you have a special guest in as well.
Yeah, thank you, Kara and Melanie, for stopping in. 6:37 on this Wednesday morning, Thanksgiving Eve, and it's going to be a big night at bars throughout the area, especially in downtown Erie. Yeah, the night before Thanksgiving is one of the busiest party nights of the entire year. Lots of live music options. That's why we've got Jack Stevenson live in studio this morning. He puts together the two-man happy hour list of live music options each and every week, and yeah, we run those here in the morning. It's a special Wednesday morning edition. Jack, thanks for stopping in.
Oh, it's so great to be here. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize Wednesday before Thanksgiving is a huge live music night around the country.
You know, it's kind of, friends gathering, but bands are gathering at bars all over.
Bands are gathering. We've got a ton of gigs around town tonight.
Do you have a number on tonight specifically?
On tonight, we've got about 20 right in town.
Okay.
I think around the whole area, we were right around 34. That's within, 30 minutes
A lot of live music options. And for most folks, that Thanksgiving Eve party here is focused on State Street in the heart of downtown Erie. So let's talk about live music.
Yeah, we've got a lot of things going on. Well, what we got started out here tonight, now this one is a band called Funkademic.
Right.
You're going to want to catch them. They're not on the State Street side, but they're a great funk and party band. They get you up dancing. And Erie classic musicians. We got Eric Brewer, Ralph Redinger, the whole gang.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a great show.
Some big names locally.
Out at Altered State tonight. Then also tonight, this is right on State Street now. We're looking at Room 33 Speakeasy. They've got one of my favorites, the Division Street Machine Band. This is Jeremy Yeager's group. And they're a jam band. They do blues. They do funk. They're original, and it's a great time. Room 33 has a great vibe. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Oh, absolutely. Right down there at 11th and State.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Keep moving on, right downtown area at South Erie, which is just one over from State on Peach Street, South Erie Turn. They've got one of the best classic rock bands around, and that's called Gypsy Heart. The guys in Gypsy Heart are all pros. A lot of them played the Paul Yoklin benefit this past Saturday, and they knocked it out of the ballpark. So you can't miss tonight with Gypsy Heart. They are a great classic rock band at South Erie.
Yeah, I've caught them a couple of times. Some excellent musicians in Gypsy Heart, for sure.
And then finally, I got to throw this one in. One of my groups today is going to be at the Rathskeller.
Who is that guy?
That guy in the middle playing bass, that's me. My band, Johnny Karate, is going to be at Rathskeller. But here's a good thing about the show. We've got an opening band, and it's a group called the Bear Stars. And it's a group of local Erie attorneys that put together a group, so everyone's going to be rocking, and that's it. Come out. Hopefully, we'll see you Wednesday night.
And you mentioned this week's two-man happy hour list is going to be slightly delayed.
Today, because of the holiday, there's not going to be any Thursday gigs. So the list, where it would normally come out Wednesday night, it's going to come out Thursday evening. Keep everybody ready for Saturday, Sunday, Monday as we go through.
Keep us ready for all the live music options. Jack, thanks so much for
Right
stopping
on, brother.
by. Break a leg at Rathskeller tonight. Yeah, again, you can get that two-man happy hour list anytime online by heading to twomanhappyhour.com. Thanks to Jack Stevenson once again. Well, some good news this morning for a lot of folks. The power's back on for just about everybody as we move into this Wednesday morning. That's after that windy Tuesday. Led to some widespread power outages. The wind gust brought down a lot of tree branches, and those branches came down right onto power lines in some cases. And Erie News Now cameras actually captured video of a utility pole fire, some wires burning there as those winds howled on Tuesday, and it led to scattered power outages. But according to Penelec, all the electric service is back this morning across Erie, Crawford, and Warren counties. And we're expecting Presque Isle State Park to be back open at some point on this Wednesday. That's after strong winds brought down trees at the peninsula, forcing officials to close the park off to visitors on Tuesday. And it kept crews there busy dealing with those downed tree branches, some blocking the park's roads and the all-purpose trail. Presque Isle officials say they're going to keep the peninsula closed until they can be sure things are safe. But that reopening should happen at some point on this Wednesday. Yeah, and again, the wind's dying down, and that is the best weather news that we have this morning, it seems, AJ.
Yeah, most certainly. Kind of the day before Thanksgiving, a lot of folks going in and around the region as well as out of town. You're looking better for that travel forecast here as we get closer to the holiday. Still some rain showers to contend with today, but as Mark was talking about, the wind has pretty much died on down. A little bit breezy as we head for the afternoon. Could be seeing potentially 10 to 15 mile per hour winds, but yesterday we were sustained between 25 and 30 miles per hour throughout much of the afternoon. Those gusts were even higher. 45 as we start off this morning. Steady temperatures continuing here for our Wednesday time frame. 46 late morning down to 45, 44 as the wind shift a little bit here heading for the afternoon. The weather impacts for today, more showers kind of off and on, especially for the morning hours. Maybe a little bit of respite for the afternoon, but I do think we'll see a few more of them for the overnight before we clear on out. Less wind, of course, than what we saw yesterday. Temperatures warmest by the immediate lakeshore. Actually, that lake temperature of 49 degrees, warming us up just a little bit. You lose a little bit of that heat across interior locations, sitting in those middle to lower 40s as we head into the afternoon. I'll have a full forecast update and a final check of those wake-up weather headlines coming up right after a short break.
Lots of folks hitting the roads and the skies on this day before Thanksgiving as we get to this live look at Reagan National Airport down in Washington. What you need to know if you're going to be heading out for your Thanksgiving Day destination on this Wednesday. Yeah, the latest on the travel rush when Erie News Now Sunrise comes back.
Now, first warning weather with AJ Mastrangelo.
Winds have most certainly died down substantially from this time yesterday, but it was yesterday afternoon where we did see some very impressive gusts. Conneaut Lighthouse kind of winning across the region, 58 miles per hour with those winds. Dunkirk at 56. Erie International not far off at 54 miles per hour northeast, sitting in there at 49. So definitely verification of those wind advisories and high wind warnings. In terms of the rain, didn't see a whole lot for the immediate lakeshore. Pretty much just between, I would say, a quarter of an inch, maybe a little bit more, but further south you got, the better chance you saw some of those larger amounts, about half an inch into Meadville. Jamestown, similar deal. Bradford, Tionesta, closer to an inch of rainfall. Wake up weather headline, short-term forecast. Clouds and showers sticking around for today, improving as we head into tomorrow. The weekend, looking at some dry and chilly conditions to start off, but then we're tracking the storm system. It's going to work in as we head for our Sunday time frame, and we're potential for some lake effect snow on the backside there. That'll be